Now this is really cool. I've been wanting to look in one of these for a while. This is a 2018 Mercedes minivan. Man, look at the bolstering on these seats. Really nice inside. Super plush seats. Take a look at the ceiling on this thing. Pretty nice. So this is a GMC Savannah Explorer. Yeah, this would be nice for a long trip. This thing's $59,000. It's pretty much a limo. Big TV up front, navigation system. $94,000. You have a big family, or you just need a lot of space, this might be the vehicle for you. This is a big van. These seats look incredibly comfortable. Family of 8? Yeah, this is what you want. So they call this a search and destroy Humvee. Definitely destroy them by blinding them. That is a really cool looking setup. What's up, guys? So you may remember the installation of this little plug that I put on the back of my toolbox, basically in between the back of the truck and the toolbox itself. A little marine grade plug because I wanted to be able to provide 12 volts to the back of my truck in the event I have any type of lighting or air compressor, whatever I might need to connect to the exterior of my vehicle. So let me show you the first thing that I made to work with this. So NiLight, who is the producer of off-road LED lights, was gracious enough to send me a set of their 7-inch off-road floodlights. These things are big. They are much larger than I originally thought they would be, but that is a good thing because the plan for these was to make a exterior, mobile, kind of omnidirectional lighting system in a flood pattern. Now, if you've watched my videos for some time, you know that I have one of those remote spotlights that you can control with the remote from the front of the vehicle. The only problem with that is it's a spotlight, so whenever you put light on something, it basically makes a big bright dot wherever you're pointing it. I wanted to be able to put much wider, more flood-oriented light on an area that I might be working, or let's say I'm working with the fifth wheel and I need to point light towards the back, or I need to pull up next to the side to do a tire change, something like that. So I got a set of these. They're the 7-inch NiLight flood beam patterns. These aren't the spot beam patterns. And I got a 3.2-inch rare earth magnet. Basically, I took the existing hardware that came with this NiLight and I mounted it to the magnet. I used a 3/4-inch spacer with a 3/8-inch inner diameter right here to space the bolt out enough. And then I used a lock nut and the nut on the end to hold everything in place. The unfortunate side of their light is that it doesn't have these Deutsch connectors already attached, so I had to buy a Deutsch connector wiring harness, and I simply connected it to the 2 leads coming off of theirs. And the reason why I did that was I can use this harness, which connects to a cigarette lighter, which again I created. I simply used the other end of the wiring harness that had the Deutsch connector here and wired it to a 12-volt outlet connector, so I can swap out the light. So if I want to use a different type of light or a different type of accessory, I simply have to connect another Deutsch connector right here, and I can plug it directly into my harness. So it gives me the ability to really use just about any accessory off of this 12-volt lead coming off the back of my truck. So this was really easy to put together. The entire project, once I got all the parts in, probably took about 30 minutes to solder up and to electrical tape and just basically get in the condition I want to use it. This magnetic base is incredibly strong. It is said to hold 100 pounds, so it has no problem holding up the light. Basically, I could attach this to the side of my refrigerator and it would hold up this light. And this light is not light. sorry for the pun, but it is a pretty heavy light. Even though it has a cast aluminum housing to it, it is very robust. It definitely feels solid. Because this thing isn't really going to stay outside, I'm going to throw it inside of my toolbox or have it in the bed or wherever I need it. I'm not too worried about, water seeping into it, even though I don't think that would ever be a problem. I believe it's IP67 rated, and it is incredibly bright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to film what it looks like at night, and hopefully you can see why I decided to do this. I think it's going to work out great for what I'm trying to accomplish. So I will be right back. First of all, I wonder if I can make it dark outside. So I know it's dark out here, but this is the completed light. It's magnetically attached to the top of my toolbox with that 4-inch steel plate that I adhered to the top of the toolbox. It isn't going anywhere, and it really mounts solidly. And I was really surprised that even with the weight of the light, it is so stable on there. Anyways, I've already turned the upfitter switch on for my little accessory port that you can't see. But the point of me doing this at night in the dark is so you can see how bright the light is. And again, it is a flood pattern light, so it's not going to be like a spotlight. So I have a little motorized remote control spotlight. The problem with that is if you're casting it out anywhere, it just makes kind of a solid beam wherever you're pointing it. This is going to give me kind of a work light, and it is extremely bright. Let me take it off the mount real quick. It's a good wide beam flood pattern, which means if you're going to be working next to you, if you have the fifth wheel hitched up at night and you want to be able to see what's going on, if you need more light in the bed, this gives you all sorts of capabilities to adjust it, and it just works really well. That little spacer worked perfectly underneath here to space out the base of the light from the magnetic base. I'm really happy with the results. So if this is something you think you might want to make for your truck, or whatever vehicle you have that has a 12-volt input, like I installed on my toolbox a while back in a video that I already showed, this is something that can really come in handy. It's not going to use a battery like a flashlight. It's actually draining off the battery of the vehicle. But if you have a new Ford truck or something with upfitter switches, or I believe even a Tundra now has a little 12-volt jack in the back, this can really help you out, especially in really dark scenarios where you're trying to do something. And because they are all LED lights, the drain isn't that much, it's minimal. Oh, and I forgot to mention, when you order these lights, you get a pair of them. So you could make 2 of them, or you could do something creative with the other light, but I haven't done anything with the other light yet. This was really intended just to use with one of the lights. I'm going to figure something out to do with the other light. I might also do a magnetic base for it, just so I have 2 of them, basically the exact same setup. I have another one of these Deutsch connectors that I can connect to the end of the cable, so I can definitely have it already pre-wired and ready to go. So that was cool, wasn't it? I mean, this thing really gave me a lot more light over a much larger area than I had even hoped. I'm really happy with this setup. This magnetic base and the fact that I put about 10 feet of cord on it give me the ability to really set it up anywhere I need it. Plus, it's pulling power off the vehicle. 52 watts worth of LED output, so this thing is going to be brighter than any of the handheld flashlights you might use. Plus, it's not going to go dead on me. I can plug it directly into the truck system and, get light on whatever I need as long as I need it. If I'm concerned at all, I'll just start up the truck. This entire setup, all the parts, everything I needed to do it, probably would run about $75. And that's including the magnet, the spacer, the cord, the light, everything. Definitely recommend it. I'll put the link in the description of the video. If this is something you're interested in doing, I highly recommend it. I've been really happy with it so far. Anyways, guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and hopefully I can bring you some more creative projects.